Good day, Coach Judith Martinez. First of all, I want to introduce our group study Hub 3. I am Sitia Shano G. Arabi, the little teacher of this study, together with my co-members Annie Rose Soto, Russell Galarde, Ashley Nicole Salcedo, Rina Abil Aguirre, and lastly, Jillian Hassan. Now, we will discussing about the learner-centered psychological principles, and it has a 14 principles that divided into those referring to cognitive and metacognitive, motivational and affective, development and social, and lastly, the individual differences factor.
So, good day everyone. So, today I'll be discussing about cognitive and metacognitive factor. So, when we talk about learning, we're not just talking about memorizing fact. We're talking about how we think, understand, and reflect on what we learn. So, the first group of the 14 principles of learning focuses on cognitive and metacognitive factors. These explain how learners process information and manage their own learning. Cognitive and metacognitive factors have 6 factors. So the first one is nature of learning process. Nature of learning process is the learning of complex subject matter is most effective when it is an international process of constructing meaning from information and experience. So nature of learning process, this learning is most effective when students actively construct meaning from information and experience rather than passively receiving facts. This means engaging with the material, asking questions, and relating it to the what you already know. So the second one is goals of the learning process. So goals of the learning process is the successful learner over time and with support and instructional guidance can create meaningful, coherent representation of knowledge. So goals of the learning process is a successful learners set out to create meaningful, coherent representation of knowledge. So this involves understanding how different pieces of information fit together to form a larger picture. So the third one is construction of knowledge. So construction of knowledge is the successful learner can link new information with existing knowledge in meaningful ways. So construction of knowledge, learners build new knowledge by linking it to what they already know. So the more connection you make and the deeper and the most robust your understanding becomes.
So, have a good day everyone. So, I am Rosel Gallarde from Bitalad IA 1B. So, now let's talk about the 14 principles of LCPP, which means the learner-centered psychological approach. So, we have here the under the cognitive and metacognitive principles. So, we have the strategic thinking. So, successful learners can create and use a variety of thinking and reasoning to achieve complex learning goals. So, example, when solving a difficult math problem, a student might try different strategies like drawings, diagrams, applying formulas, or using trials and errors until they succeed. So, strategy means trying to find a way to achieve and succeed the goals. So, trying to find solutions and like strategy to be successful learners. So let's move on to thinking about thinking. This is under the cognitive and metacognitive. So thinking about thinking, this is the ability of learners to reflect on how they think and learn as they can. So they can set a reasonable learning or performance goals, choose appropriate learning strategies or methods, and monitor their progress towards achieving their goals. So example, if a student struggles to understand reading text, they may change strategies such as highlighting key ideas, making notes, or summarizing to improve group comprehension. So, thinking about thinking, this is you are thinking about how things happened and how you will going to um, what are the solution that you are going to make to become effective learners. So example, like a student, when the student is had a hard time to understand text like reading, so the student can highlight such important details so they will understand easily. And thinking about thinking is about the logically thinking. The context of learning is influenced by environmental factors such as cultural, technology, and instruction. So in cultural, the child learn the values, traditions, belief, and in the community. So in technology, even the child alone can learn new language, new words, and anything through internet, apps, and gadgets. While in the instructional practices, the teacher teaching lessons. So the child will also learn the instruction of the teacher. The child will learn how to follow the instruction. So example, a learner write access. So example, a learner with access to the internet and supportive families resources may find it easier to succeed compared to learners who lack such as support. So in this example, according to the in this example, if the learner is fully supported by the families, neighbors, has an easy way to access.
Now, let me discuss to you about the learner-centered psychological principle. My topic is motivational effective factor. So, there are three factors, which is the motivational influence on learning. So, the reach of internal world of thoughts, belief, goals, and expectation for success. Failure can enhance or interface with learner quality of thinking and information processing. So, motivational and emotional influence, emotion and motivation play a key role in how students learn. Positive emotion like interest, joy, or pride can enhance attention, memory, and engagement, while negative emotion like anxiety, boredom can hinder learning. Motivation drives students to start learning, persist through challenges, and achieve goals. So that's all about motivational and emotional influence on learning. So the number 2 is intrinsic motivation to learn. So intrinsic motivation is stimulated by states of optimal novelty and difficulty relevant to the personal interest and providing for personal choice and control. So this means is intrinsic motivational refers to the learning for its own sake when students are genuinely interested, curious, or find personal value in that subject. It leads a deeper understanding, better retention, or a stronger desire to explore the master of the topic without external rewards. So the last one is we talk about the effect of motivational on effort. So effect of motivational on effort is another major indicator of motivational to learn and the acquisition of complex knowledge and skill demands that investment of consideration learning, energy and strategic effort along with a persistence over time. So this means the level of motivation directly influences how effort of learning puts in highly motivated learner as a more likely to set a goals, stay focused, work harder, and persist through difficulties. Low motivation can result minimal effort or poor learning outcome. So that's all. That's all about the motivational and effect factors of the learner-centered psychological principles.
Good day, Coach Jude. My name is Aniros Gregorio Soto from BTLED IA1B. So let's proceed to the developmental and social factors. So this is my part. And in the developmental and social factors, we have two parts. So the first one is the developmental influences on learning. Okay, so when we talk about developmental influences on learning, what we're really saying is that how well someone learns depends a lot on where they are at in their development. Not just physically, but also intellectually, emotionally, and socially. Think about this way. Everyone grows and changes at their own pace, so the best way to teach someone is to understand where they are in each of these areas. For example, a kid might be great at math, which focuses on intellectual, but still struggles with sharing or working in a group or collaborating, which focuses on social. If we recognize these differences, we can tailor our teaching to fit their specific needs. So, making learning much more effective. Does that make sense? So, for example, basically, as educators, we know that our students come to us with a range of abilities and experiences. When we talk about developmental influences in learning, it's about recognizing that each child's development in physical, intellectual, and emotional and social domains impacts their learning process. So, essentially, effective teaching involves acknowledging that students develop in different rates across domains. For instance, a student might be intellectually advanced but emotionally less mature. By understanding these individual differences, we can tailor our instructional strategies to meet each student's unique needs or different needs. This might mean providing extra support in one area while challenging them in another, ultimately leading to more meaningful and effective learning outcomes for all our students. So now, let's proceed to another part. So, a little recap. In developmental and social factors, we have two parts. So the first one is the developmental influences on learning. So now, let's proceed to the social influences on learning. So, these social influences on learning highlights how interaction and collaboration with others can significantly boost a learner's educational experience. When students have the chance to work together on tasks, they can share ideas, learn from different perspectives, and support each other's understanding. This collaborative environment not only enhances their group of the material but also develops crucial social skills like communication, of course, communication skills, teamwork, or collaboration, cooperation, and empathy.
Good day to each and everyone. Now, I will be tackle about the individual differences factor and its principles that we had the individual differences in learning and diversity, and lastly, the standard and assessment. So, let's start with what is individual differences factor all about. Individual differences factor are the unique psychological and physical characteristics that affect how a person learns, including their cognitive abilities, learning styles, personality, interests, and physical attributes. These differences, which stem from a combination of genetics and environment, require educators to use varied teaching methods, flexible assessments, and a personalized approach to help all students succeed. Then let's proceed the principles of individual differences factor. Individual differences in learning. That individuals are born with develop their own capabilities and talents that educators need to help students examine their learning preferences and expand or modify them if necessary. This refers to the understanding that each person has unique capabilities, talents, and learning preferences. Recognizing these differences is crucial in education. So, in the other hand, people are born with different aptitudes and develop various skills over time. Educators should help students identify their preferred learning style and adapt their teaching methods accordingly. For example, some students learn best through visual aids, while others prefer hands-on activities. A teacher might use diagrams for visual learners and experiments for kinesthetic learners. Next is the learning and diversity principle. These principles are the same basic principles of learning, motivation, and effective instruction apply to all learners. This emphasizes that while learners are diverse, the fundamental principles of learning, motivation, and effective instruction remain the same for everyone. Regardless of background or individual differences, certain basic principles apply to all learners. Motivation, clear instruction, and a supportive environment are essential for effective learning. For example, a diverse classroom may include students from different cultural backgrounds and learner abilities. However, all students benefit from a well-structured lesson plan and encouragement. And lastly, the standard and assessment. These principles to provide important information to both the learner and teacher at all stages of the learning process. Standard and assessment highlights the importance of assessment in providing valuable information to both learners and teachers throughout the learning process. Assessment is a tool that helps track student progress and identify areas that need improvement. Rather, information both the student and the teacher, allowing for adjustments in teaching and learning strategies. For example, regular quizzes and exams provide feedback on student understanding. Teachers can use this information to adjust their teaching methods, while students can identify areas where they need to focus more.
Good day everyone! Today in my presentation, I'll be talking about how Alexander and Murphy made the 14 learner-centered psychological principle easier to understand. Instead of looking at them separately, they grouped them into 5 main areas. These areas shows how learners think, feel, and develop as they learn. So today, let's explore these 5 areas together and see why they are important for effective learning. So let's start with the very first area, the knowledge base. The knowledge base. Once knowledge serves as the foundation of future learning. This simplifies means that everything we learn builds on what we already know. Think of it like a building blocks. The stronger the foundation, the easier it is to understand and connect new ideas. The second one is strategic processing and control. Learners can develop skills to reflect and regulate their thoughts and behavior in order to learn more effectively. Learners aren't just receivers of information. We can reflect on our learning, monitor our progress, and adjust our strategies. In short, it's about self-regulation, being able to think about how we think, learn how to learn. The third one is motivation and effect. Factors such as intrinsic motivation, reasons for wanting to learn, personal goals, and enjoyment of learning tasks all have crucial role in learning process. Learning isn't just about the mind, it's also about the heart. Our motivations, goals, and even our emotions plays a big role. When we are curious, interested, or enjoying the task, we learn better. But if we're anxious or uninterested, learning becomes harder. The fourth one is individual differences. Learning is a unique journey for each person because each learner has his own unique combination of genetic and environmental factors that influence him. No two learners are exactly the same. We each have unique strengths, challenges, and backgrounds that affect how we learn. This is why personalized approach in education are so important because what works for one student may not work for another. And lastly, situation or context. Learning happens in the context of society as well as within an individual. Learning doesn't happen in isolation. It's shaped by the environment or culture, society, classroom, and even the technology we use. All of these factors influence how we learn and apply knowledge. So, in summary, Alexander and Murphy remind us that learning is not just about memorizing facts. It's about building knowledge, managing our thinking, staying motivated, recognizing our differences, and understanding context where learning happens.